Um, but cool. All right. Well, before we go, if you still have time, I don't
Yeah.
know how late you had. We're gonna be. This is something that we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna try to do for every interview. Kind of stealing this idea from the Black Sheep podcast, which is a they're a podcast that like interviews a lot of like metal and punk bands, and
Cool. Okay.
uh, so I'm kind of putting my own spin on it. So I have asked Corey to give me maybe I don't know if it's your top five, but just like just five of your favorite Christian albums, and that how I define Christian album is like pretty broad. You know, it
Mhm.
can be like mainstream CCM, it can be indie alternative, it can be, you know, like any genre, it can be metal, punk, whatever. So yeah, give us what you got for us, Corey.
Yeah. I thought long and hard about this. Number one is my. I'm just kidding. So, um, I didn't. I couldn't really.
Wild and free.
Right. Yeah.
By this
um.
awesome band, Saint of Pine
Right.
Hills.
He's this super humble guy. I couldn't really narrow it down. There was a lot of albums that I grew up with listening that
Mm-hmm.
my parents didn't want me to listen to anything besides CCM or jazz, and I'm just like, how
Oh.
ironic is that? Like, do you know the story behind jazz? Now I'm thinking this now. I'm like the story behind jazz and like the culture of jazz. I was like, I don't think
Right.
it's what you think it is because they were
It's
just
like,
going
well,
off of no lyrics, and I'm like, okay,
oh, okay. It's
yeah,
like, well, there is some lyrics in jazz.
right there, and that's not what you like either.
Yeah, not all the time.
So I've
But
got a I didn't put it in any order. It's just what came to mind first.
that's fine.
Um,
That's fine.
Satellite from p.o.d. was a big album that I listened front to back often. Um, and that I think that was like
Nice.
wasn't that the one that kind of like catapulted them into like the mainstream with like
I feel like
Boom
it
and
had a lot of the hits. Yeah,
yeah,
it had like Youth of the
yep,
Nation, Boom.
yeah.
Uh, those are the first two that come to mind.
Even the Satellite, the album
Yeah,
title song, like, jeez.
yeah.
Um, and then I
Dude,
don't
that's so
know.
funny. I was thinking of Youth of the Nation earlier today. Like I hadn't listened to it in
Right?
forever, but I was just thinking I was like, man, that guitar part at the beginning and throughout the song is pretty cool
Yeah.
actually.
Bow, bow, bow. And it's like, what would you even call that album? I'm terrible with genres. Um, and then I know
It's
that they
like
always got
yeah.
rap rock as their thing, but it's like I don't think it. I don't think that album is that. It's
It's a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, it's like kind of new metal
yep.
ish. It's kind of rap, rock,
Don't they have
metal, sorta.
let's see. There was one track I think they had on it that was almost like a punk reggae, and then it goes into like a weird
Oh yeah,
without jaw. Is that on that album?
yeah. Without ya, nothing or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. That was like, oh man, my friends, we would blast that and
That's
then
a good.
do our own push pit in like somebody's living
I
room.
was gonna say it's a good moshing song.
Yes, yeah,
That's for sure.
yep. Without jaw, nothing. And then we were like, wow, he's talking about God, but he's not saying God. It's like, so it's like,
It's like we get the
yeah,
message.
we hear you loud and clear. And then I talked with um crap, what is his name? I just had it. I talked
Sunny?
with no, not Sonny, the bassist.
Oh, Sunny's the only name that I
Uh,
know.
Trey. I talked with Trey at Audio Feed this
Oh.
year after he played.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he played with
Because he's
the
in that band.
that super group band.
Yeah, I forget their name, but I remember hearing about that, and I missed their set.
Yeah, he was.
But
I was just sitting there watching him the whole time. And then of course he sound checked with Boom, like,
awesome.
and I was just like, don't. And afterwards, I was like, man, you really teased us with that. I was like, I was so disappointed
Yeah.
that you didn't cover it.
Dare you?
Oh, jeez, that would have been so amazing. Or even like, because I think that band had the drummer of Demon Hunter playing
Yeah,
with him as
yeah,
well. The
something
big
like that.
guy. Yeah, I was like, oh. And then they didn't play any of their songs. They just played all their this newer. I don't even know what you would call that vibe.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know, but that's cool. That's awesome.
and
You got
then
to talk to him.
I've got a video of I used to ride uh, what I would thought was BMX, but it was just me riding a 20-inch bike throughout my neighborhood, jumping off curbs and homemade ramps. And I
Yeah.
remember shooting a terrible video to Boom while I was trying to do tricks on a bicycle, and it's so funny to watch now. I'm like,
It's the perfect soundtrack to it.
yeah, oh man, it was like I think every action sports like
Yeah,
thing
it's used in
overused.
sports a lot. Yeah, I
um,
remember hearing that in what was that Adam Sandler movie, the longest yard or
oh,
whatever.
that's
I
not
think it's in
that's not
that movie
surprising.
too.
Yeah, football. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so that wasn't like the very very first. Um, Going back to like the very very first album that I'd loved from front to back was OC Supertones. Was Supertones
Hmm.
Strike Back, like, and then
Mm.
I don't know how long they stuck around for, but it was like they kind of just dropped it on us. Everybody loved it, and then they just disappeared, kind of a thing. Where
Yeah. Yeah, didn't they stop and then they came back or whatever,
yeah,
or they had some sort of
they
reunion?
kept changing it. It was like started off as Supertones, I think, then it became OC, and then it's like, yeah,
Oh yeah. But weren't they gone for like a long time and then they had some sort of like reunion, they made a new album?
I don't know. I
I
haven't
might
really followed closely,
mm,
um,
I might be wrong.
because the resurgence. Yeah, I know that they were. What was this? Yeesh. Yeah, I don't know when their last release was,
Yeah.
but like I wasn't, and I didn't even know that that was like technically ska back when I was listening to it. But I was like, wow, I was like, this music's fun, and he's saying some
it's
stuff about God. That's
yeah.
that's cool too.
It's it's rock with horns in it.
Yeah, it was like it's not
Yeah, I
quite punk, but it's like, and then didn't he do like some random rap parts too? It's like,
yeah, there was some rap in there, yeah.
yeah, oh man,
That was popular around that time with Supertones and p.o.d. You got to put some rap in it and that makes it cool.
right, yeah,
Maybe we should bring that back.
right.
Bring rap back into rock.
Oh, yeah, it'd be like the new
But
new Limp Biscuit.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could make it cool again.
Right? You could have a resurgence.
Sure.
Um, Another one that I bought only at a Christian bookstore because that was the only place I could buy music, or that I thought I could buy music at that time.
Right.
uh,
Yeah, same
was
same here.
I had their earlier albums, but MXPX, the Ever Passing Moment album was really what I loved the most from their earlier releases,
Mm,
because it was kind of like changing from a traditional punk band to like almost like a pop punk band at that point. Like
right.
Responsibility, songs like that. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that's my favorite album from them.
Yeah. I never got on that bandwagon either.
Oh,
I was more of a I was more of a Reliant K guy,
yeah,
and I actually didn't know about MXPX for the longest time until I was like older and started getting into more tooth and nail bands, and I don't know, I just never really gave them a fair shot. So, but I know a lot of people love them, and they're like basically like the Blink 182
oh yeah,
of Christian rock.
they're
You
really
know,
fun live, and like they always put on a great live show. That was actually my first
yeah,
show I ever saw. I think I was like 12
nice,
maybe,
nice.
and
That's a It's a good way to get into
And it
shows.
was so funny to think about it because it was they were the headliners, and their opening band was Good Charlotte, and so
Oh,
it was like, wow, that was an interesting dynamic.
yeah. I always love hearing stories like that with like bands opening up for other bands and they end up becoming
Yeah,
more popular later on.
right.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
so
funny.
that was definitely an interesting show.
Uh huh.
Um, and then going more so, um, I know we're not that. Actually, how old are you? Or
29.
oh yeah, so we're not that far apart, like 5 years, give or take.
Yeah.
I don't know about for your the church I grew up at. It was like a gigantic church of like 5,000 people, and then for
Oh
the
wow.
music portions, it was always either just straight up hymns with like a ginormous choir and orchestra, or it was like Sandy Patty songs, or it's like all these like very theatrical songs,
Yeah.
and I was just so turned off by any of that. And then everything on the radio at that point was all just like was it Amy Grant and
Mm-hmm.
artists
Michael
like
W. Smith.
yeah. So
Yeah.
needless to say, when I first started playing worship songs, I was like, I don't like any of this. Like
This is not good.
yeah, and then Chris Tomlin started slowly creeping in at that point, and then it was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I guess I can sing that. Um, but
It's got more of a beat to it.
yeah, the band that changed it all for me though for that was Leland. Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
when they came out, I was just like, whoa, okay, this doesn't sound
Yeah.
anything like worship music, but I like it. Um,
Yeah.
they did an album called Opposite Way that
Mm.
was totally different than their first release. Because the first release still had like those worship ballads on it and stuff like that.
Right.
But then they did Opposite Way, and it was like a full on like rock album, like
Mm-hmm.
indie rock album almost. Which yeah, I really loved that, and I saw them live like twice. And they just brought it every single time, just high energy, and I had not seen anything like that in
Yeah.
the CCM world. Um,
Yeah. I was hoping that you were gonna say The Great Awakening. That was the album that I really got
oh,
into by Leland.
yeah,
I just love that first track, The Great Awakening.
hmm
It's a great opener to the album, and the rest of the album was really good too. I saw them. They did a concert at a youth convention that I went to. They were like touring with Brandon Heath
oh yeah.
because I think they
I think I saw
I
that same
think they
one.
did a. Oh, okay, yeah. It was an Assemblies of God youth convention
Uh-huh.
thing. It's called Momentum,
Okay.
and every year they used to have like a big artist come and do like a concert for a night, and yeah, it was Leland, Brandon Heath, might have been someone else
Yeah.
there too, but I think they like did a song or an album together, and that's why they were
Ah, okay.
touring. But
Yeah, I saw that same tour.
but
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
nice.
Is
Yeah, I don't know how old I would have been. Probably like
yeah,
17.
I can't remember when that when that was, but that was
Yeah.
after like it wasn't Waymaker because that's isn't that like newer Leland like Waymaker and all that like
Yeah, that's a bit more
yeah
recent. Even though they didn't write that
yeah
song, they a lot of people covered it.
right
Yeah, their most recent album I listened to because I was curious about. I think it's called the Kingdom of God,
hmm
something like that. And then they had the cover with a picture of the Tower of Babel on it, and it kind of caused people in the comments to be like, "Why is it called Kingdom of God, but it's a picture of the Tower of Babel?" You know, and I forget what their explanation was for it, but it was like intentional. So I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I kind of like that," and
huh
so it got me curious to listen to the album, and the album was all right.
yeah
It had a couple songs on there that I really liked, but it was meh otherwise.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
disappointing. It's like they started off so strong, and then it was like, and then yeah, I guess there's always a point.
yeah. I feel like they kind of morphed into like the rest of the whole like modern worship
Yep.
movement. You know,
Yeah.
uh, so whatever. I mean, I guess that's the CCM machine.
Yep.
You know.
That's true. Yeah, my last one. I thought he had put them all together, but do you remember when John Foreman dropped like all of the different seasons, the EPs? He did like,
Oh yeah, for Limbs and Branches,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah. So he did put them
dude.
all onto Libs and Branches, right? Or
Yeah,
so he had like I can't remember which season was first, but when he dropped that one, I was just like, whoa, okay, like this guy's writing like straight up psalms, but he's making them sound like great. Um,
right.
and I'll still like even at the church I'm at now, I'll still lead "Your Love Is Strong" from
Hmm.
time to time because I'm like, nobody has written a song that encompasses the Lord's Prayer like so perfectly, uh,
Mm-hmm.
like John Foreman did with that track. Um,
Yeah.
but I loved all of
D-
those EPs, and
yeah.
I even loved them more than a couple of Switchfoot's EP or albums. I was like,
No. Yeah. No argument there. Honestly.
I just wondered where John was hiding all of those, or was he like, oh, I like that, and I'm gonna keep that in my pocket, not for the band.
right. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. That's Limbs and Branches for me. It's got to be like at least in like top 10 Christian albums for
Mm,
me
yeah,
personally. Maybe even top 5. It was very influential for me because I at the time like the album came out, I was kind of into Switchfoot. I hadn't really like dived that much into them. I had been listening to them for a little while, and then my older sister, knew that, and so like for my birthday, she got me Limbs and Branches. She's like, "This is the guy from Switchfoot." I'm like, "Oh, sweet," and like it was like a game
yeah,
changer. Like I loved it, and I still love it to this day. So much, like yeah, Your Love Is Strong. I also led that in worship as well, and but like also like all the other songs,
mm,
like just I just love the way that he talked about faith and also like relationships and things going on in his life as well. And I didn't even know that it was like a joining of different EPs that he made. I thought that was just
oh
like
yeah,
the album that he made, and I found out later. In fact, I think there are some songs that didn't even make it on the album that were still also really good.
mm,
But I think it was that album that also like got me into like folk music,
yeah,
like indie folk sort of, you know.
yeah. It was
Um,
such a different vibe. White as Snow with like these
mhm.
I I don't even remember the names of the instruments that were played on it. It was almost um like a traditional like Chinese folk music kind of thing. He would use these instruments on it. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, like I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, John Foreman
Yep.
did
He's like,
it.
I just had an acoustic guitar, and then I asked everybody else to play.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's so good and like up there with like some of my favorite Switchfoot
Yeah.
albums. And you know, I miss that too. Like I feel like it's been a while since he's like been able to like touch that sound,
Hmm.
but you know, always a lot of respect for John Foreman. Very influential for me
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. So, hey you. Yeah, you person right there watching this video. Hey, did you know that this was just a little clip from an actual full episode of the show that I do called the I'm Clifford Today Show? Well, now you do. So you should just go and check that full episode out, and hey, while you're at it, you should just go subscribe and check out my whole channel. That's just my advice. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want.